Hi, a very happy vapor here. Actually, very happy today. I found a better way to refill non-refillable cartomizer. Yay! Well, of course, I mean, we all know that cartomizers are more convenient to use and greater to begin with, but then it's a little more limiting. You have to buy the cartomizer from the provider. If not, you still have to open them, or you might have to buy the blank cartomizers, like in case of ePuffer, because the cartomizers that come pre-filled are sometimes a little difficult to open. And in the case of units such as the Colibri, the cartomizer is really small, so it only lasts, well, the manufacturer says 12 to 15 cigarette equivalents. I think it might be a little less, but at any rate, they really need to be refilled, because otherwise things get very expensive very fast. In the past, I've shown you a way to open a GreenSmoke cartomizer using a precision screwdriver and opening it through the hole like this, working it around. It still works for GreenSmoke. It still takes a bit of effort and patience, but it does work. Again, for GreenSmoke, I was unable to do it this way for example, the Colibri, which is something I really wanted to refill, because Colibri is a very small, very stylish unit. But the life of the cartridge of the cartomizer is just way too short for my liking, so I had to find a way to refill it. So what I found was that I went to my workshop and I found a couple of little hooks that you use for hanging pictures. Okay, this one came from IKEA. I have absolutely no idea where this one came from, probably IKEA as well. The diameter of that of the thread on this hook is just a little bigger than the diameter of the hole in the white cap of the cartomizer. So what you can do is, if you screw it into the white hole, it shouldn't take too much effort, but some, otherwise it'll yank out. And then you can pull out the white cap fairly easily. It's still a little tricky. It takes a little patience with GreenSmoke. Those guys really try to make sure you don't do this. But it works nonetheless, and it's faster than doing it with a screwdriver. It doesn't take as much time. So the reason, as I discovered after doing this, the reason that it's that my screwdriver method did not work on the Colibri is that the white cap is different. You can see there is a little tube that I don't even know how to show you. There is a little tube sticking out in the middle that goes into the tube inside the cartomizer that the fabric with the e-juice is wrapped around. So there is really nothing for the screwdriver to catch onto, so you have to find something else. It's very difficult to pick at it at the edges of the white cap, so screwing something in is pretty much the only way you're going to get at it. I've tested this on the Colibri, of course, which was the main reason for me to try this, and it worked. I've tested it on the ePuffer Magnum, and that again worked. And I've tested it on GreenSmoke, and again it worked, with a bit more effort, but still easier than the screwdriver method. The one more thing that I wanted to talk about is, again, the Colibri. The cartomizer is so narrow, you can see that most of the space there is taken up by that hollow tube. So it's kind of tricky to get the juice into the fabric. So you have to make sure that you either use a syringe with a needle, or a bottle with the juice with a really narrow tip. You can't use some of the bigger bottles directly. You need to use something else. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is that if you again look at the cartomizer, let me open another one for you. bigger ones so that it's a little easier to see. This has been opened before, that's why it worked quite so quickly. The Colibri, by the way, that I opened just popped out, was never opened before. Okay, so you see there is a little tube there, right? And this is the ePuffer Magnum. The Magnum and the GreenSmoke, they look more or less the same in the grand scheme of things, but the GreenSmoke especially, those are really well-made cartomizers, but all of them really are. I'm just wondering whether it would be possible for the Colibri to have a little more fabric, but anyway, the GreenSmoke cartomizer has a little translucent washer that you do need to pull out before you try to refill it. That's why at least the GreenSmoke you cannot do with just a needle at an angle at all. But the main thing here is that I've seen a couple of YouTube videos on how to use something like this, fill it up with e-juice and then push a cartomizer in like that. That can't work. It simply cannot work properly. Maybe it's working, but it should not be done, because when the cartomizer is assembled, okay, so you see there is this ring, there is the white cap. Let me get the right one for GreenSmoke, although it shouldn't truly matter. If you do an assembled cartomizer, put some e-juice into something like this and then shove it in, what you're going to have is the liquid is going to mostly go into the little tube inside in the middle of the cartomizer, which is exactly what you normally want to avoid, right? Because you're going to have that tube full of e-juice. Hopefully you're going to blow it out or something like that, somehow dry that. But if you don't, and even if you do, it won't be completely dry, it's simply going to leak into the battery. So I would never recommend to use this method to refill any kind of cartomizer, because most of the liquid is going to simply go into that tube. You need it to be in the fabric. So once again, I found the method I just showed you worked on 3 different models. I am going to probably test it on everything else that I get from now on. I am thinking of doing safe-sig, see what I can see there, and I hope it works for you as well. I've got some links in the description for GreenSmoke, for ePuffer Magnum and ePuffer Colibri. Yes, for full disclosure, yes, those links take you to my affiliate page, but considering that I've just showed you how to decrease my commissions, you know, I think I'm basically an okay guy, and I would appreciate if you went through my links to get the supplies for your favorite e-cigarette or a new kit. So I intend to make these videos in the future, and thank you very much, and happy puffing.